deine Bühne. Bitte, du bist dran.
Yeah, thank you, Tino, for the nice introduction. Thank you for having me. Unfortunately, I can't make it to Zug. I'm here in Berlin, in one of the leading Corona hotspots in Germany. So right here from our meeting room, behind me you can see our airplane, but it's just a fake airplane, as you can see. So yeah, I'm happy to be here to join the online conference. And today I would like to talk about the token economy and the question why and how it will change our lives. And if you thought I would talk about the Bitcoin price, the increasing Bitcoin price from the last days, I must disappoint you. That's not on my agenda, but nevertheless, you can ask me later on it if you want to. So instead, I will start with the term of value, more specifically about the digitization and embodiment of value in digital infrastructures. And may you ask, what do I mean with value? And I mean mainly things that are scarce or should be scarce in terms of availability. And that could be a lot. That could be rights of use, licenses, property or assets, personal or sensitive data to which not everyone should have unlimited access, and ultimately, of course, our money. And yeah, it's a very abstract topic, a very general topic. So to make it more clear, I would like to clarify the transformation process regarding our value infrastructures with an example. And this example is a communication infrastructure. And there you all know the classic landline phone, which you used at home. And with that phone at home, the only opportunity was to have a call, nothing more, nothing less. Today, of course, we all have smartphones, and yeah, with the smartphones, we can do much more than just having calls, and especially with the use of the internet, and less we use the classic telephone network. So like today here in this online conference right now, we are using the internet as a communication infrastructure because it's flexible, adaptable, programmable, and that's great. So we can do a lot of things. I can share my screen, we can have a chat, I can send files to you. And if I would have a PowerPoint presentation, which I don't have, but if I would have one, I could share with you my PowerPoint presentation. And yeah, last but not least, we can hold an online conference. And that's great. And that's a very important aspect when we talk about value infrastructures too, because what we can observe here is that our communication infrastructure is getting integrated into programmable, adaptable, and flexible infrastructures. And the same thing, what we all use every day in our business and everyday life, is now happening with our value infrastructure. The value infrastructure is like an additional layer on the internet. So the internet is for information. And now we could observe that we get a value infrastructure for transferring value. And so that's why we call it the Internet of Value. But to make this happen, this kind of new infrastructure, we need to re-embody or digitally securitize value so that we are able to do transactions. And therefore, we have a new medium that's called token. And the token is purely digital. There is no certificate, unlike traditionally securitized securities, for example. It's only digital, and yeah, it's based on a blockchain. So the token is like a placeholder on the blockchain that enables us to create digital scarcity. And that's maybe one of the most important things today, digital scarcity. And that's not possible with the internet alone. With the internet, we all know I have a PDF file or Word document, I can manipulate it, I can copy it as much as I want. And that was the first big thing what Bitcoin, for example, brought to us. A way to transfer value without middleman and where no manipulation is or a copy of Bitcoins is not possible. And that's one of the big narrative of the blockchain technology of token to create scarcity, digital scarcity, and to guarantee it. And that's very important. So therefore also, I would like to come to my second example, like we had before with our Zoom calls and communication infrastructure. So now I would like to concentrate on an already disrupted industry, the music industry. And because there is an aspect I would like to focus on, which is very important when we talk about token or tokenization. And we all know the classic medium, the music carrier medium, like vinyl. And later on, we had the CD. The CD was a much more efficient music carrier where we can store more music. But really exciting it was when there was a kind of dematerialization of sound carriers, when the computer systems came up with MP3 player and of course the internet. So we were able to store, play, send music without a physical limitation. Yeah. So we could copy music as often as we wanted. We completely re-embedded the music in a new digital environment. And the same is happening now with token. They are not music carriers, but they are value carriers, which are completely digital and enables us to create a completely new digital economy, like we have seen in other industries before with the internet, but now with value. And in this context, I really like the regulatory approach from Liechtenstein. I guess today there are maybe some people from Liechtenstein here. Hello, and you're doing a very great job regarding regulation, because I like the Blockchain Act, where you describe token as digital container. And this image, this picture of a container, and we can imagine like a freight container. We can put all the things, goods, the products into this freight container. This is a very good image for token, because with token, you can do the same. You can put also everything which is digital or possible digital into this token as a container. That could be corporate bonds, the right to use a 3D print file, or the digital euro from the ECB, or maybe from Facebook, we will see. And this is the last aspect, the digital money. This is something we at BTC-ECHO write every day about it. It's such a hot topic. It's happening right now. All the big central banks are working to tokenize our fiat currencies. That's the next big thing. And especially China is here very at the front. Is, I would say, the leading central banks when it comes to central bank digital currency. So that's the term. So CBDC is the name for it. And they already developed a currency, a digital yuan or renminbi, and they test it. Right now, they are testing it. And it's not the only central bank, of course, but also this week, it's a very small one, of course, and it's not so important, but the Bahamas launched their fiat currency, the Bahamas dollars, as a CBDC this week already. So the 400,000 people who are living at the Bahamas can use now from the state the digital money. So it's something that's really happening right now. Also, we in Europe or in the US with the Fed are not so fast, of course, but I'm really sure that we will see CBDC in this decade, because there are some aspects that the politicians don't want they want to have it, because digital money offers a lot for the politics. And I would say there are two key drivers for digital central bank money. And one is to get more control about the financial transactions. And every state, of course, wants to have control. Control means power over the people. And that is something what is a good explanation why China, as an autocratic state, is at the front of this development, because we all know that they are working on a social scoring system. it's very important for the state to control the people, to see what they are doing. So it makes absolutely sense to have money in a digital, programmable, flexible, adaptable infrastructure. Yeah, so you can punish the people when they are doing bad things, or you can reward the people when they behave well, no matter what you mean with well. So it's a great system for control. And so I think every state wants to have this to reduce the privacy, for example, we all have with our paper money, where you can pay anonymously, more or less. And with digital money, I think that's something, from the past. And the next point or key driver for digital money is more based on the technology, on the economy. And we all live in a digital world. And in a digital world or economy, digital money becomes more and more important, of course. So we see an automation, machines getting more important, machines doing business. So it's the software, the smart or artificial intelligence software, which is doing business. And we human beings, getting less and less important in transactions. And there are not only transactions on the information side, there are also transactions on the value layer. So there are a lot of buzzwords. I know there are a lot of buzzwords in this topic. So there's a smart contracts. That means contracts in a programmable embedded code. Yeah. And there are the machine-to-machine communication. So drones or autonomous vehicles that are driving and collecting data and spending money, and the machines in the industry, of course, which behave autonomously and doing business, are interconnected with each other. So it's some kind of decentralization that is happening right now, corresponding to the other technologies, because blockchain is always just an infrastructure for other technologies. So for artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and of course, virtual reality. And maybe it's not the biggest topic right now, but I think it will be the game changer in the future for digital money, for blockchain and digital scarcity. So in the next step, I would like to concentrate on virtual reality. I do it very short, but this is very important to understand what it means to have value in a digital environment. So, one second. Yeah, you all know Facebook, and Facebook has bought Oculus. Oculus is a VR glasses manufacturer, and they are working together on a project called Horizon. If you like, you can Google it, Facebook Horizon, then you see what it is. And so the exciting thing is that Facebook tries now to put his social media into a virtual reality environment, so that you do the same things you already do at Facebook, to meet your friends, chat with your friends, posting photos from your dinner, I don't know, a lot of things, and much more in the future. So we will see in this decade already, I think, much more opportunities in the virtual reality. So in the world of Facebook, for example, you will be able to go shopping. So you can walk into a Nike store and buy some sneakers, for example. You can have a date, for example, or you go to the cinema, maybe called Netflix, the cinema, and watch a movie. And that's maybe more important, we will do business and virtual realities. Like now, we are also already in a meeting room of Zoom, for example, the provider for web calls. And this room we are right now will be in a virtual reality where we have our glasses on in, I don't know when, I think in the next 5 to 10 years. Not next year, not in 2 or 3 years, but I think in the next 5 to 10 years, it will be absolutely normal. It will be the standard that we doing this conference today, like we do today, in a virtual reality environment. So we are, behave in this room. We are all here in this room right now, maybe. And it's important then that we have a blockchain technology that provides and guarantees that everything is original. That what you see is me, for example, that my watch is real, my shirt is real and not a fake one, and maybe the painting behind me. Yeah, that is an original painting for, I don't know, 5,000 euro, don't mind. so that you can prove it is real. And therefore, you need a decentralized infrastructure or a token-based infrastructure. And then we come to the point of value. And that's very exciting because we all know Facebook is building a financial infrastructure too. So virtual reality is one project, and I think there is no proof, but I think that there's a link to their financial project called Libra. Libra is an approach to build a cryptocurrency like it's a stablecoin cryptocurrency like Euro, US dollar, British pound, renminbi, and so on and so on. So on the biggest currencies. And then it makes absolutely sense to build this infrastructure with other companies. So there are other Silicon Valley companies like Spotify, Uber, who are joining this consortia to build a financial infrastructure with token based on the blockchain technology, and where you don't need a state or a central bank or banks and so on. You can build your own economy. And I think that this is not in 3 or 4 years, but in this decade, a big goal to create a completely new economy outside the real economy, so it's economy next to our real economy. And that's really exciting and dangerous, of course. So I'm really afraid of these developments because we have to take care that our privacy, of course, is not getting stolen by the central banks and not getting stolen by Facebook. And yeah, in the end, we all have to live with token. And now it doesn't matter if you like Bitcoin, if you like blockchain, or so on. It doesn't matter. We all will use token or token infrastructures in this decade, and we all will have a wallet if you want or not, because it's about a new standard. And this new standard is taking place right now, and it takes some more time. Right now, we are just at the very early stage. It's not, we'll see a lot of pilots, and it's not working so well. I know this, but I think in 5 to 10 years, it will be a standard. And we can see it right now with all the devices that are getting built today for the big manufacturers, like your Samsung smartphone, for example. If you have such a smartphone, the new one, the new generation, have a hardware wallet, a wallet for the token economy. In the future, if you buy a car from Daimler or Porsche, the car has a car wallet. They are already working to integrate car wallets, hardware wallets into your car. So there's a company called Riddle and Code, and they made it with Daimler and Porsche to build these kind of car wallets so that your car in the future is able to do value transactions with other cars. I don't know, with a weather station, you could sell your data you collect, for example, and so on and so on. It's a completely new economy. So last but not least, don't be shy to this new digital world of value. It's up to you. If you are one of the early adopters, and it's a new technology, we had so many new technologies in the past years and decades, so it's just one another. And I think there are a lot of opportunities, and yeah, I hope you're open-minded to it, and I hope I could inspire you a little bit. And of course, right now, I'm happy to answer your questions if you have one. Thank you.
Kannst du mich hören?
Jawohl.
Ja, okay.
Yes,
super, hervorragend. Also ich werde in Deutsch sprechen, du darfst gerne in Englisch antworten oder in Deutsch. Du hast jetzt gerade die Übergangsphase fast schon erreicht, noch nicht ganz, weil ich habe gleich noch einen ganz tollen Speaker nach dir. Aber ich freue mich nachher aufs Panel. Hast du gesehen, wer im Panel ist? Nein, du weißt es nicht. Der Miha ist drinnen im Panel und wir haben EY im Panel, wir haben PwC im Panel und wir haben die Universität St. Gallen bzw. übergreifend Luzern und Aalborg ist also in einer Person im Panel. Wir werden ein sensationelles Panel erleben. Super. Aber erstmal herzlichen Dank für den spannenden Vortrag. Wiederum kurz, knackig und im Style eines BTC-ECHOs rübergeschossen. Also klasse. Ich muss gerade schauen, ob wir Fragen aus dem Chat haben. Ich sehe jetzt im Moment keine, aber ich kann selbst fragen, wie kam es an sich, dieses BTC-ECHO zu gründen? Wo war die Idee? Wo war der Ansatz? Es ist ja ein unternehmerischer Gedanke gewesen.
Deutsch oder Englisch, was ist jetzt besser?
Mach Englisch.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's not my idea. What wasn't my idea? So Mark Preuss is the founder of BTC-ECHO, and at the very beginning there was Bitcoin, of course, and everything started with Bitcoin in 2013 already. So Mark had the idea of building a blog, because at this time there was nothing for information and news in German. So what happened was to create this blog at this time in 2014 then to provide German-speaking content for the people who are interested in Bitcoin and later on blockchain. And this developed so great, so the interest increased and the traffic, of course, for our platform, that, yeah, we could do a business out of it. And I joined BTC-ECHO in the end of 2015. I was a student at this time, and after my university studies, I founded the editorial office. So I became the editor-in-chief for BTC-ECHO. So then in 2017, when we saw the big crypto hype, everyone was crazy, and we saw the big bubble around cryptocurrencies. That was also the, let's say, professional beginning of BTC-ECHO, where we had our business here, or created our business in Berlin with our editorial office, and developed it since then to the leading German-speaking media in the field of cryptocurrencies and blockchain. And we have a print magazine as well, and on YouTube also.
Okay, ja, vielen Dank dafür, und ich muss mich ganz herzlich bedanken. Ich muss mich so rumdrehen. Moment, wo sieht man es? Ich muss hier tanzen wie auf dem Stepptanz hier. Da sieht man, nein, da auch nicht, da. Jetzt habe ich es da. Da, hier, BTC-ECHO. Ganz lieben Dank für euren Support, für eure Unterstützung hier. Auch bei dieser Session, die wir jetzt haben, die 2 Tage. Ihr habt das ganz großartig gemacht, tolle Bericht geschrieben, und ich hoffe, vielleicht gibt es noch mal so einen Nachbericht über das Ganze, was natürlich toll ist. Und ich wünsche mir auch natürlich euch als Partner in Zusammenarbeit nachher, nicht jetzt nur bloß für die Festivals, sondern auch im Austausch zu haben, was passiert hier. Weil wenn man sieht, was für eine hochqualitative Situation wir hier geschaffen haben von Speakern und Informationen, ich glaube, da gibt es doch einiges, was auch vielleicht BTC-ECHO dann direkt von uns haben darf als Information, was auch die ganze Leserschaft interessiert. Ich freue mich da auf eine lange Zusammenarbeit mit euch. 24., 25. Februar kommt dann die nächste Session, die wir hier machen, und ich hoffe dass ihr wieder dabei seid und mit anderen Themen vielleicht uns unterstützt oder wie auch immer, Hauptsache ihr seid da. Das würde mich sehr freuen. Vielen Dank nochmal, wie gesagt, für den Support an dieser Stelle. Ich warte immer noch, ich hatte vorhin irgendwas, ja gerne, ich sehe den Chat leider nicht, ich kann es nicht sagen, aber ich hatte irgendwie eine Frage gesehen von Axel. Kann mir den Chat noch mal bitte einblenden, oder haben wir keinen? Gut. Jo, also ich habe eine Frage oder eine Ansage von Bernhard, eine Frage in dem Fall. Thank you for that great presentation. Are you able to give us a more detailed idea of a time frame of the future developments you mentioned?
Yes, of course. So the problem is everyone thought that the token economy will take place very fast. There was the ICO bubble, so everyone thought 2 years, 3 years, and it doesn't happen. It's very complicated to create a decentralized economy, and that's blockchain, decentralization. So what we see right now is that big companies jump on blockchain technology and try to make it easier and more centralized. Yeah, like Facebook is doing right now. And the thing is, it's not always a question of technology issues. It's always more a question on, is it regulatory okay? Is it allowed to do it? And I think Facebook has to do a lot of fights here with the regulatory authorities. So I would say the big boom we will see in the mass adoption and realistic use cases is maybe in 3 or 5 years. The year 2025, maybe we will see, but then we won't see that it's blockchain. So we will use the apps, of course. We will exchange value. We will have our token, but it's not like today where it's a little bit complicated and it's just something for the nerds. So then it's completely normal. It's very easy. But until that, it takes some time. I would say this decade definitely, but not in the next 1 or 2 or 3 years.
Okay, danke schön für die Antwort. Eine Frage in dem Fall, in diesem Zusammenhang. Du sagst gerade, dass Facebook natürlich hier mit Libra einen großen Step nach vorne getan hat, was sehr mutig war. Es war ein Unternehmerschritt allemal und der Gegenwind war brutal hart. Aber wie es immer im Unternehmertum ist, wenn du auf neues Feld gehst, musst du mit Gegenwind rechnen. Und jetzt sind sie ja dann am Klären und mit den Regulatoren zu sprechen und Dinge zu verändern. Wie siehst du die Chancen generell für Libra, dass diese Sache sich durchsetzen wird?
Yeah, I think we will see Libra, and Libra will make it because they will have such an agreement with the regulatory authorities. So there is no privacy because the regulatory authorities are afraid that they lose their power and the control over transactions, and that will not happen, never, with Facebook. Facebook have to give all the information to the state, and then maybe it's a good opportunity for the state to have something. It's based on the fiat currency, so the control about the money is still at the state. But of course, I think there will be a lot of agreements necessary that the state says, okay, now we are happy with that concept, but it will take time.
Okay, thank you for that. There's another question from Dr. Dorian Hartmut. What will happen if the authorities of governments in Europe will defend their economies against independent digital currencies? Independent, yeah.
I mean, so currencies like Facebook or what?
No, I think it's questions normally in the area.
I think in general, so the state, the power of money is one of the most important things for the state. So the state will always do everything to have the power about money. And the finance ministers, for example, Olaf Scholz, or from the central banks, Christine Lagarde, for example, they mentioned it very often that they won't allow other private currencies to compete with fiat currencies. So if they were getting allowed, there are a lot of compromises that are necessary. So they will, in the final, they will, I guess, not allow these currencies. But that's the point. It's very difficult not to allow it because it's a technology you can't prohibit. It's blockchain technology like Bitcoin. There is no state that can destroy Bitcoin. You can't say it's not allowed to pay with Bitcoin. That's in your power. But it's not in your power to destroy Bitcoin, for example. So it will be very exciting. And I don't have an answer to all this question, how it will end up in 10 years.
Okay. Thank you for that and vielen Dank für deinen Vortrag. Wir sehen uns gleich nochmal im Panel und ich denke, da werden noch einige Fragen möglicherweise gleich kommen. Wenn nicht, wir haben auch im Panel einige Fragen. Ich glaube, wir haben eine sehr spannende Diskussion gleich vor uns. Wir sehen uns gleich, Sven. Danke dir für deinen Vortrag.